Things I wish I did differently when I was pregnant, part one. I really wish that I mentally prepared more for the type of delivery that I didn't want and didn't think was gonna happen, but ended up happening. Long story short, I ended up going into labor naturally. I pushed for 4.5 hours. Baby's head got stuck sideways and I had to have a C-section. Now, thankfully, it wasn't an emergency C-section, but that's just how he had to come into the world. I went into this thinking I am going to have a natural birth. I purposely was working with midwives and hired a doula and went to a hospital that was like a happy medium between a home birth and a hospital setting. They were really low on interventions and open to trying a lot of things, but they were there in case things went south, which it did. So when people ask what would you have done differently, I would have mentally prepped more for the event that a C-section was going to happen. I was already so exhausted by the end of pushing. I had been awake for several days in a row because I was in early labor for several nights. And then just the act of pushing that long, and I mean, it was like 1:30 in the morning at this point. I was done. So when I had gotten the news and they were like, listen, this is how it has to be, I broke down. I sobbed, and they were amazing and validating and empathizing and really helpful in that moment, of course. But I was not okay because it was not the news I wanted to hear. It was not what I was expecting. I was like, this has been mostly a textbook pregnancy. There's absolutely no reason this should be happening. Listen, I was dilating really well, labor was progressing really well, and his head was super low. So ideally, if he was just in the right position, he would have come out probably pretty quickly is what I'm thinking. He was a small baby to begin with, and again, he was like super low. So like when it was time to push, she was like, let's go, like this is gonna happen. So when it didn't, it was just like a huge reality check, and that really messed with me mentally. Now, of course, being sleep deprived and all of the things didn't help. But anyways, you get what I'm saying. Just prep mentally for any type of delivery, any type of situation, any type of interventions, anything that could possibly happen. You can have a plan and you can prep as much as you want and have a dream for how you want it to go. And I genuinely hope it goes that way. But just be prepared in the event that it doesn't, because there are so many things that can happen.